Hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. Happy Vibes Sunday. I'm going to let some of you come in the live stream. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Detroit. Tune in from where you are. Let me know where you are. Put your location in the comments in the chat so I can say what's up to you. I appreciate all of you for coming in when was that? We were live Friday. You guys did a phenomenal job. You guys were engaging. Thank you to all the new subscribers, all the family that I'm developing around the world. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for always having some wonderful things to say. Some do, some don't, but we welcome all comments as long as they're respectful. We appreciate all of that good stuff. So I'm going to let some of you come into this live stream before we start our topic and conversation for today. It's a beautiful day. Sometimes you just got to go outside and sit by the water and feel God's presence, feel the presence of nature, see things and see people, and watch the waves of the water. Sit somewhere by yourself and let the Lord speak to you, pick up the energy in the universe and to see where your next step is, where your direction is. Some of you, waiting for God to speak or waiting for things to be revealed. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting by yourself in a place where you can hear your next direction, your next step. So today is a perfect day. It's slow down Sunday. Everything is kind of slow motion. Hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining this live stream. We're just going to do a soft recap from our Friday's live stream and talk about some big things that has been going on this weekend. It's the Michael movie. Wondering if any of you have saw the movie. If you have, put it in the chat if you saw the Michael movie. And tell me what your thoughts are about it. Tell me if you're a big dreamer and what are some of the preparation or even some of the obstacles that you face accomplishing or in the process of accomplishing your dreams. Put it in the chat if you guys have saw the movie. I heard it did record-breaking numbers at the box office. I'm so happy for the Jackson family and all those who participated to make that idea from paper to come into reality on the big screen and to share that inspiration with us, the world. Even in someone's death, it sees that a legacy can continue on through massive numbers of generations. That's the question. Is your legacy being produced in a way that other generations can feel your energy and or mimic some of the things that you are putting out in the universe as a gift or a skill or an ability to be able to add more depth to the world? Hi, Emily. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe and like the channel and share the video. Thank you so much for coming in. We're just recapping our Friday chat, talking about some new things today, Sunday, the Michael movie, and are you a big dreamer, and what it takes to accomplish your dreams. Like I said, I'm out here by the water, and sometimes the best places for you to go, are places where there's water, places where there's, nature, inspiration. Sometimes, there's places in your house that you like to go where you're starting to write, where you're starting to envision or visualize. You tell me, is there some places that you like to go when you're starting to dream or you're starting to bring things into fruition and put them on paper to bring them into this physical world? Where do you go to start to brainstorm ideas that you feel are inspired to bring forth into the world? Put it in the chat. Hi, Emily. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you all family that have joined me on this Menu All Star podcast. I appreciate all of you. Emily, did you go see the Michael movie? Tell me a little bit about the passion that it takes to accomplish. Oh, look at this cute little duck behind me. That's amazing. Everything is out here in nature. You don't know what you may see here, smell. It's just all a part of the energy of being outside. What does it take to cause your dreams to come true? Some of us, including myself, it takes so much determination and internal motivation to start to walk in the direction to accomplish parts of your dream. Because I don't believe that a dream can be realized in a short number of time or a short number of days. I think in my experience, as you're pursuing, it takes a culmination of things to make something come to be or to make something manifest. If you've had this experience of what I'm talking about so far, put it in the live chat, because I'm encouraging you to put it in the live chat so that when people come back onto the stream, they can see some of your comments. And then that can be also an inspiration to other people. So we're talking about, what does it take to make your dreams come true? And or are you a big dreamer? The first thing that you learn as a child is to use your imagination. You guys remember that? When it was use your imagination, when you're hearing a story, or your teacher is reading a book to you, or you're somewhere where you're seeing something, or you start to think on something, your parents or somebody influential in your life will tell you, you know what, use your imagination. Do you guys still use your imagination? Now we can call it visualizing. It's a little bit more mature terms because we've grown up, but imagination is still one of the best manifestation tools so far, that I've read and that I've experienced. So you guys tell me, have you been able to sharpen your imagination, or are the realities of life so dense for you where you're not able to use your imagination and or visualize things, the places, the person, the experiences that you would like to have? In that Michael movie, I'm not going to give the movie away because I have to go see it with another group, and there's so much to it. Each time you see something, particularly a movie, and that it inspires you, you get so much revelation, as you continue to go see it once and then twice and then 3 times. It was the same thing with Sinners. I saw that about 3 times. It was the same thing with the Color Purple movie. I saw that, I think, twice. Song Blue, I saw that about 2 or 3 times. And so with that being said, these movies and the directors behind it, they're trying to give us messages that connects with our internal universe to be able to help us expand and make different things possible for us through the vision that's coming through the screen, using our imagination. That if they could do that, I can do that. I'm going to let that sit for you for a moment. If they can accomplish that, then I know I can do this. How many of you have that experience and going through something in that regard right now? If she can do this, then I know I can do that. Right? Sometimes you just have to see something. Sometimes somebody just have to prove to you, you know what, that is possible. So I want you to talk back to me. I'm not going to give, all of the movie away. But I want to thank all of you for subscribing. As I said earlier, if you haven't subscribed and joined our family, I'm asking you to do so, and share this video as well. Leave your comment, because other people come in and they read the comment and they respond. And a lot of our visitors that have come in brand new, and some of our subscriptions that have been, with us for a while, we call them now our family. Our family has been with us for a while. They respond back to you. So we have a community within a community that's navigating the conversation even once this live stream goes off. So make sure you guys continue to when you do watch the video, that you continue to comment, and tell me what are some of the dreams that you're pursuing. What are some of the goals, that you are attempting to accomplish or have accomplished, and now you're on to the next goal. You know, in the movie, there were so many obstacles Michael faced, but his dream was bigger than the obstacle. And sometimes you have to get somewhere and meditate on the thing that's so big that starts to shrink the noise externally around you that seems so larger than that. Because I'm going to tell you something, your reality is smaller than your dream. And most people think that the reality in which they live right now is bigger than their dream, and it will not happen, or it will not come to pass, or it will not come into fruition. But for all of you, and myself included, we live from the inside out, right? We live from the imagination realm, the visualization realm of our subconscious, to see ourselves in a place, in an identity, in a production of something that starts to manifest outwardly and attract things to us. Have you ever wanted a car? And this happens all the time. And you get a thought about the car. Let's say it's a, whatever you want. Let's say it's a Rolls Royce. Maybe not a Rolls Royce. Some of you don't want a Rolls Royce. I do, okay? So maybe it's a Mercedes. Let's do that. That's pretty general, specific, easy to attain. Let's say you want a Mercedes. Once you start thinking about this car, a Jeep, Mercedes, whatever it is, Rolls Royce, you start to see that car on the road everywhere. You guys experience that? When you start to plant that seed inside of your subconscious mind, it starts to germinate in the fact that now the universe is now producing that kind after itself to come into your world, or to be a part of the existence around you. And that's why you're now seeing them everywhere. They may have already been there, right? You may have passed a Mercedes 5, 6, 7 times a day. But because now your mind and your thoughts are starting to think on certain things, to the degree you're going through a magazine, you see one, or you purposely purchase certain magazines or go online to look at certain pictures of the car, you start researching the interior, you start looking at parts of the engine, you start designing the car and some of the websites. And so all of these elements of manifestation you start to incorporate in your subconscious, and now you're seeing this particular car everywhere you go. And then before you know it, there's opportunity for you to be able to either get in one, someone decides to buy one and you get access to it, or certain avenues of income streams start to become available for you where you're going to purchase it through a course of time, as long as you stay in the vein of thinking on that thing continuously. And it's the same thing with your dream. And I noticed that even in the movie, there were some things that Michael wrote down, and he constantly was writing. You guys, to put it in the chat if you noticed that. He was constantly writing I am statements, and this is what I'll have, and this is who I'll be, and this is who I am, and I am the greatest of all times. And this is when he was a young boy. So how obsessed are you with your vision? How obsessed are you with your dream? How consumed are you with bringing the thing that's in you outward to share with the world? Thank you all my top fans that are joining in. This is the Menu All-Star Podcast with your host, Star Smith. And I'm just recapping a little bit about the Michael movie and talking about what it takes to make your dreams come true. Have you guys experienced the movie, first of all? Let me know. And then second, how obsessed with you are bringing something into this realm of living that you feel on the inside. There was certain parts in the movie that was, absolutely just remarkable. I mean, inspiring, remarkable. And then there were certain parts of the movie where you were able to parallel certain parts of your life to a family, right? And in a family, you have all these dynamics, right? We see just a superstar, stardom, larger than life individual, but in his family, he was somebody's brother, as you, as you, and that he was somebody's son, he was somebody's friend, he was somebody's uncle. So he was all of these dynamics of a family that experiences the same thing that you and I experienced in our family. And so even when you're accomplishing or starting to develop dreaming and executing those dreams and those goals in reality, you're still in the confines of the dimensions of the people around you, i.e., your family, and how they can help you on that journey or how they hinder you on that journey. Put it in the live chat if you know what I'm talking about. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm out here by the water because I'm inspired. I'm inspired to do something amazing. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to share with my family and get on here and talk to you guys because I want to know, are you inspired to do something amazing? You know, some things that are amazing aren't relatively larger than life as Michael's dream was. Something relatively amazing is amazing because God gave you the vision and the idea to accomplish it that's going to impact and change parts of the world or the world in general. So we're talking about even having a dream and a vision, you're still in the confines of your family. And in the movie, I noticed that there were people, of course, there were people in the family that was attaching to the dream, and then there were people in the family that was trying to destroy a dream because they had a vision that was their vision that they wanted him to play in and a part of. So how many times are we a star in somebody else's movie? Like and subscribe. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate you, Christian. Thank you for joining in, Top Fan. How often are we a star in someone else's movie? Right? I'm not going to give the whole movie away. I hope you saw it. If you saw the Michael movie, put it in the chat. Certain people want you to do things their way to exploit your gift. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. You're only good to some people if you're singing the song that they want you to sing. And lo and behold, you have a different song that you want to sing. Now the family is turned against you. Meaning that you got your own opinion. You have your own way of doing things. You have your own desires. But they're so bent, your family is, some of them, not all, like in the movie, some of them were very receptive to Michael's dream of becoming the biggest star in the world. And then some of them weren't. I'm not going to give the movie away, but I want you to see it for yourself. And I want you to analyze it from thinking from your own seat. Who is with me on this journey? Who in my family dynamic, or the people that are around me every day, how many times have I gone to them and said, you know what, I'm thinking about doing this, and they've supported me? Or, no, you don't need to do that. You just need to let that go. Go ahead and go to work. Just go to work. Get you a good job. If you're not working, get out of school. Go to work. And just find you a nice person, girl or boy, and date them and be happy. Don't pursue your dream. How many people around you that support your vision and your dream? Like and subscribe, share the video, put it in the live chat. If you have a community of people around you that's going to support your dream, my hat goes off to you. For the most part, it's not happening. Even in the movie, Michael had to start to perceive the people that was going to support him in his new identity of being this big icon. So as you go through your journey, and even as I'm learning and just getting on this podcast and talking with you and developing things outside of it and sharing it with people, some people are on board, some people are off board, right? And so things constantly change, just like the universe constantly is changing. The people in your life is going to be on a rotation. They're going to be on rotation because now you're getting closer and closer to accomplishing the thing that you set out to do. It's just like the car we talked about. When you continue to think on something and you start to see it everywhere, now you're starting to open up your phone and a picture comes up of a certain vehicle. Or you go somewhere and someone's talking about, hey, I just purchased this car and it's the same car you was talking about. Or something comes up and there's a giveaway and it's the exact car that you've been thinking about and meditating on, and lo and behold you win the giveaway at work and it's the car, or etc. It's because you're planting the seeds in your subconscious mind that's now drawing these things to you. You're attracting them. And so on the journey of accomplishing your dreams, you're going to start to attract people that are going to help you. So that means that you have to be open to other individuals that are going to may not look like you. They may not be of your same culture. They may not be of your same ethnicity. They may not be of your same social class, right? They may not be of your same, demographic. They may have come from some other part of the world. Just because God has assigned something to you to do, and all these people are assigned to that purpose. So your dream is also about purpose. Put it in the live chat. Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? And I want to help all of you. I want you to help me. I want to be your visionary in chief. For all you Vics, and you're my Vics out there, you're my visionaries in chief, right? And we're going to talk about these things, relative to even this movie and some of the pressures that comes on an individual when they're in the season of brainstorming or implanting the vision. We're going to talk about some of the implications of the people that are around us who use their words to hinder our progress and cause us to doubt ourselves. So there's a plethora of components that causes us to either manifest or digress from accomplishing our dreams. And we were talking about, the communication styles in a family. And I talked about just a moment ago, some of the things I noticed in his family. And we all have a family that we're born into. And how some of the people in the family, they want you to say at a certain level because it makes them feel comfortable with you. Once you start to try to rise above that level or that temperature, it makes people very uncomfortable. Put it in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's, you can't go to college because if you went to college, then who's going to be here to help me? Well, your life is not always about being in the home where you were birthed and raised to help somebody when it's time for you to spread your wings and fly and then come back with other opportunities for your family to grow and evolve. Put it in the chat. Have you tried to step away from your family at any time and you got any type of pushback because they wanted you to stay in a confinement of space or dimension that made them comfortable but you were unhappy? And some of the requirements that I'm learning that it takes is really with yourself and becoming mature enough to stand up for yourself, right? Just because you're born into a family, that doesn't mean your dream have to be what your father's dream were, or your dream have to be what your mother's dream was. And if they fail to accomplish, you take on the weight of guilt of their responsibility of failure, and then you try to promote what they didn't do and do it and be miserable. Make sure you like and subscribe because we're talking about accomplishing your dreams. We're talking about the Michael movie. We're having some parallel uh, identity thoughts and shifts, even within the family component of some of the hindrances and the toxicity, even within a family that hinders you from accomplishing your dream or accomplishing your goal or accomplishing your next level. Why are people so bound to, well, I got to do this because it's my family? Well, when you become of a certain age, you are required, and especially if you get married, you're required to develop your family the way that God wants you to. And I noticed in the movie, Michael couldn't look his father in the eye. So that said a lot about his confidence, right? He could not look this man in his eye. And um, they portrayed this based on, obviously the real life of, his life in that regard. So we're just talking about the movie from what they showed us. In that movie, he could not look his father in the eye. Hi, Rain. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all, my family that's joining me. Thank you so much. When a man is at a certain age and he still have a problem looking in the eyes of his father to tell him who he is, that's a problem. Because if you don't tell a person who you are, you'll be trapped in their identity of you. So how much more important it is, particularly to start in the confines of a home where the birthing place and the foundation of your life is established. If the people in your home can't see who you're becoming and you don't tell them, they're going to keep you small because they only see you as that little girl or that little boy. Put it in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. And so I noticed, the dimensions of communication in that family. And Michael had this huge dream, and he would go off to certain places in his room in his spare time when he wasn't doing what his father wanted him to do to accomplish the dreams of his father. But in his spare time, he was writing out who he was. He was meditating on becoming an icon. He was journaling all of the things that he was going to accomplish. He was writing new music that he was hearing from being out in the elements and walking, in his yard and in different places in the quiets of the night. Being by the water where you can hear certain sounds that heaven wants to release into the universe, to give to you, to bring into fruition, to share with other people. He was very inspired, and he spent a lot of time alone. Right? And so that's another part to the conversation. How much time do you spend alone in meditation, reprogramming your subconscious mind about who you are and where you're going? And it's different for everybody in the parts of a family. And the larger the family that you have, I believe the more complex it is, because you have so many people's opinion. What you should do, where you should go, who you should be with, where you should live, when you should leave the house, when should you not leave the house, when can you grow up, when can you buy a house. If you've had these experiences or you're in them now, put it in the chat. How often are we living up to somebody else's expectations? And how often are we the star in their movie. For them to say, you know what, I did that. I made her. I made him. I put that together for them. When all the while, you ain't even want to be a part of it. Or, even in the movie, certain seasons ran its course. And it's time to start a new thing. But you're so bent on trying to keep a family tradition, a tradition that's dead. Some traditions of the family are dead. And it's time for a resurrection of a new thing. So we're just talking about the Michael movie. I'm making some parallels so that we can start to shape the dynamic of our world to bring the things to pass that we desire. Right? Coming out of the shadows of our family. And I noticed that Michael did that throughout the movie. And even when he was trying to come out of the shadows, his dad will push him back into the shadow. No, you're going to be who I want you to be. And he was fighting for his identity. He was fighting for his individualism. He was fighting for his dream and his vision. And he started to get around people that saw the thing that he saw in himself, and eventually boot his dad out of his ability to manage him. And even when he fired his father as a manager, his father still found a way to try to manipulate him back into becoming what he wanted him to be. Was just a part of a group. And Michael is like, no, I'm bigger than this. I love my brothers, but I'm a star. His dad said, no, you ain't no star. You're going to be in this group, and you're going to do what I told you to do. And you're going to think what I told you to think. And Michael was like, no, I can't do that. But he didn't have the courage to say that until a certain part when he started to develop his identity. How often do we stay muffled and mouth closed because we're afraid to tell people who we are? Put it in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe. I can't see all these comments. They're coming in so fast. Christian, thank you for tuning in. Rain, thank you for tuning in. Emily, thank you for tuning in. All of you, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you continue to comment and share the video. And like I said, put something in the chat because it does help other subscribers when they're coming back after the replay and they're reading and they're learning through our conversation and they're enjoying the dialogue. So make sure you always put something in the comments. Make sure you share the video. We appreciate all of that. And so we're just talking about the Michael movie and are you a big dreamer? Right? And we talked about the dynamics of your family and how some people are set against you of becoming the individual that you feel that you should be in the family as you grow and as you're growing and as you see yourself outside of a family business. Maybe you see yourself doing something totally different. And is your family accepting that? And how many people around you are encouraging you to be the different version that you are now feeling that you are, as far as becoming a new individual in your purpose. Right? So we talked about that dynamic. We talked about family, and the communication pattern. For boys, I'm sure it's different. When it's time to stand up to your father and give them, the idea of who you are now versus who they've raised you, to be. And it all coincides with one, but now you're able to make your own decisions. Are your family accepting the fact that you can make your own decisions? Have you seen this movie? You definitely have to see it. Like I said, it's some movies that inspire you to think outside of the box, and this is definitely one of them, right? And it's been an absolute phenomenal insight. Even the people that were in the theater, they just raved about how amazing this movie was, and I encourage you to see it. As we're talking about communication and the different styles of communication, Sometimes when you're a leader, and I'm switching gears here because we're on the same thing, but we're on a different subject. When you're a leader, you have to understand the different communication styles of the people that are around you. And I'm going to make a reference to this. There are certain children that I know that's going to communicate with me in their way that lets me know, okay, this is what she wants. And she or he may not say it, but the way that they communicate, I can pick it up right away. Now, as a leader, you can't expect everybody to communicate with you the same way. They're not robots, right? And so, as a leader, your job is to discern the individual and the type of communication style that they have and the best way to relate to them. Now, even in the movie, Michael's dad was very forceful, and he was demeaning, and he was manipulative, right? And Michael was very passive, and he was very shy, and he was nonverbal in his ability to speak up for himself. So his father dominated the relationship masterfully. When you're leading people as a great leader, it is important to be able to know how to communicate with them based on the way that they communicate. Every person cannot conform to what you tell them to do the way that you want them to do it, the way you want them to tell you how to do something. You have to allow people to be who they are and communicate with you the way that they communicate. So, for instance, one of my children, they will call me late at night, right, or text. And I know when I get a text from this particular person, one of my daughters, she's going to either have something on her mind that she wants to talk about, or she's going to ask me for something. Now, this could be midnight, right? And she'll send this text, and I love her so much, and she'll start, "Hi, Mom." And I'll even know by the text and the time, oh, this is such and such. "Hey, dear, how's it going? You know, what's going on?" And I'm not a person that loves to text late at night. I'm in the bed, lights out at a certain time. But for her upward period is later night because she's a college student, etc., etc. So, am I gonna say, you know what? Don't text me late at night. I'm in the bed. I can't involve myself with this conversation late at night. Just call me tomorrow. No. Right? I have to allow her to be the person that she is. Now, if I decide to comment on the text, or if I decide to engage in the text, that's one element of that. But I want to keep the communication lines open and clear with one of my one of these children in the way, and I'm saying that because they subscribe to the channel, in the way that I don't push them away because of my own communication style and or pattern, right? So I know with her, I'm going to have a little bit of time, couple of minutes, to kind of respond back to her, to either bring the temperature down of what she's going through, and or to address an issue or something that she's asking me to do. Okay, dear, that's a great question. Let me take some time to think on that. I'll get back to you around 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then I make sure that I do that, right? Even if I haven't solved the problem, I make sure that I respond back to her in the time in which I say that I'm going to. Another kid. And we're just talking about styles of communication in a family and how everybody is not going to communicate the same. And as a leader, it is your job to be able to discern and be able to navigate through the relationships and the various styles of communication so that you can have a healthy relationship with the people that are around you, right? One of my children, they're a person that I have to take them out, right? I have to take them out and probably sit across from them in a lunch dinner setting because they want to spend some quality time in person, right? They want to be connected with you in person. One of my children, they don't have to do that. It's a phone call, a text, they good. Another one is in person. So how often are we learning the people around us to be able to have a healthy relationship with them. Right? In the movie, we're talking about dreaming big and pursuing your goals and the passion and the vision. But you're also in a dynamic of a family where you also have to get to know the people that are around you. Yeah, you can be a big icon and you can be this big mogul and you can be all of these wonderful things, but have you got time yet to develop the relationships that are around you? How good is it for you to change the world and you're not changing the world in your home? I'm gonna let you think on that for a second. I'm out here at the beautiful park. People are out with their families. It's a gorgeous day. The boats are on the water. Everything is looking amazing, you know. And sometimes, like I said, you got to go somewhere so that your wheels can start to turn with the things that you're going to accomplish next. You know, what is God speaking to me now to do? Let me get some inspiration here off the water. Let me get some peace, thoughts, some inspiration, motivation in a place where I can just sit and listen and hear the next things in my spirit that I feel God is leading me to do. Sometimes you have to do that for yourself, right? And in the paralleling it to the movie, Michael did that often. He would go away and he will write, and he would talk about the things that was inside of him, and he will affirm who he is. Okay? But we also seen a different part of the family dynamic, whereas he couldn't be who he wanted to be with certain people in his family. And so he was this big icon inside, but on the other end, he was a small little boy with his father. And I'm talking about the dynamics of communication, and I was given a parallel as to even my own children and being a leader in my household, how I have to be understanding and empathetic to every person who has a different style of communication. And when they need to talk to me, the empathy and the understanding that it takes to be able to navigate through different personalities. Like I said, one of my children, she's a touch of text. She loves to text, and she'll put all her emotions in the text, and it'll be late at night. She's a late at night person because she's a college student, and that's wonderful. So I have to make sure that I connect with her, and if because I'm not a night person, and say, you know what, dear, we'll tackle this early in the morning, or I'll have an answer by noon. Okay, mom, thank you. Another child, he's an in person. Hey, mom, can I take you to lunch? Can we have dinner? Of course. He's that or she's that, right? Another child, they're line upon line, right? They know exactly what they want to do. They've already written out everything. They just want to see if you can affirm it, confirm it, or give them thoughts to change. Okay, that's a wonderful idea. Go with it. You know, another kid, they're itinerary. They're like military style. Okay, well, here's the aesthetics for this. This is what we're going to do. It's A through Z. Time frame, schedule, check off boxes. They're that. Right? Another child, they just want to talk. And they just want me to listen. Right? So you have to be all these different things to all these different people when you're a leader. And you have to accept everybody as to who they are in the season that they are, and not expect them to just conform to you and your way all the time. You'll be a bad leader. So I'm not going to be before you long. I can go on and on and on. I wanted to touch bases with my family here and get some insight on with you guys to see if you saw the movie. If you haven't, please go see this movie, and we're going to come back and talk about it. Following your heart, following your passion, following your dreams, thinking of a dream, being obsessed with a vision and a purpose, those things are inspired from God. They're inspired from God, but it takes a different level of pursuit to bring them into manifestation. It's going to take some different changes in your environment. It's going to take some different people to be around you to accomplish those things. And first and foremost, it's going to take your identity changing to become the thing that God is putting in you to be. Okay? It's going to take a lot of decision making. It's going to take a lot of saying no. It's going to take a lot of knowing what's good for you and what's not good for you, and the business or the dream, the focus that you want to accomplish. And it's not easy, because not only are you dealing with the outside world and the internal, but you're dealing with your family. And most oftentimes, family just wants you to be right where they've kept you, because it's change for some people is very scary, right? And I wanted to admonish you today. It's Sunday. It's a beautiful day. I hope you're enjoying some time with your family. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this video. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to get off of this live. I see so many of you are on here. Thank you so much for participating in the live chat. Rain, Christian, a few of you, I see your names. Thank you for the top fans. Thank you so much for participating and coming on here and staying on here with me as we're talking about this. It's a lot of decisions that have to be made as to who you're going to become according to what you feel is on the inside of you. And you're going to have to get around people that's going to start to identify with the icon that you are, with the mogul that you are, with the visionary that you are, with the executive that you are, with the pastor that you are, with the mother to be that you are. Whatever it is, you're going to have to get around people that now comes into alignment with that, and getting into new environments that's going to nurture that seed so that it can start to produce. All right. I'm Star Smith. This is the Menu All-Star Podcast. Please continue to vibe with me. I'll see you again very soon. Leave your comment in the chat if you saw this movie. It's a phenomenal movie. I can't say anything bad about it. So many parallels to life, to family, to business, to accomplishing your goals, to achieving your purpose. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'll talk to you soon. Make sure you continue to vibe with me. I'll see you next time. Again, I'm here at Bishop's Park. I'm going to enjoy this water while it's a nice day outside. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.